Between all of my clients, we're on track to do $2 million in revenue by the end of the year. And I just want to talk about exactly how we've been able to achieve that in this video. It's just going to be raw, unedited, talking directly to you about my experiences, the things I had to do on my end, the things they had to do on their end, the way you have to think about it, and the results that you get and the effort you have to put in order to get those results. Because social media has changed how people perceive general revenue, or even just business in itself or life in itself. To reach $2 million with a new offer that I launched in October, when we've already reached about 1.2 million at the time of filming this early June, you have to be putting in a lot of effort and working with the right people. And obviously social media has completely warped how we think about success in itself. So I just want to talk about the exact way I have to think, what my clients have to think, and how we have to go about actually implementing these systems and the daily effort that it takes to reach these results. So it all starts off with just obviously perseverance. I'm not going to tell you just the normal and generic, oh, you need to show up every day and, put the effort in, because obviously that does count. And no matter how you're feeling about the certain day, always make sure that you're fulfilling, your non-negotiables. On my to-do list, I'll have a screenshot. I have my non-negotiables, and then I have all my extra tasks. My non-negotiables I have to do every single day, because that's what's going to push the needle forward in my life. Now the extras, or the negotiable tasks in my to-do list, are all about either just events I have going on in my life, almost using it as a calendar, or things that can aid me, and it's just somewhere I can log them. But my non-negotiables are a must-do every single day. And that just consists of having a minimum amount of time spent on certain tasks, and also things that improve my health, as well as getting content out there and overall just being a better person every single day, working towards what you need to be working towards, and putting in that daily non-negotiable effort. And that's the biggest thing. Whereas when you're just writing a general to-do list, you're always going to figure out which ones you can skip and which ones you can't. So this just solves that by telling you exactly which ones you must do. Otherwise, anyone setting tasks for themselves is going to feel guilty about it. So when you have the non-negotiables, it really helps. And you just pick like 2 or 3. It's really, really simple. And then you can go out of the day and understand that you still achieved what you must achieve every day. You're not going to feel as bad about yourself. And that also helps with the way you think in terms of but not beating yourself up over not achieving everything, when you just have non-negotiables and a small number of them that do push the needle forward. It's really important. For example, if you were starting an agency or an e-com brand, a non-negotiable could be send 20, 50 outreach DMs. Or if you're running an e-com brand, source a product, or record 1 ad creative or 1 organic video. Those are just terms of non-negotiables that really, really help. My non-negotiables are all about working for a certain amount of time on certain tasks, as well as posting content. My minimum is 1 or 2 videos per day across Instagram organically, and then 1 YouTube video per week, which, depending on the video, changes. As a side note, obviously you can hear the bells ringing. I'm traveling in Portugal with family, and all the way through Europe as well, London, Portugal, and Berlin. And it's been an amazing trip so far. And we've done quite a lot, even for a holiday. I made the plans to meet up with a certain client, one of our clients in London, one of our biggest clients. We've also been taking meetings. For example, Jared, I'll throw up a screenshot of the meeting. Jared, one of our done for you clients, who's actually transitioning into the done with you offer. We've already done 2 calls out of the 12 that come with the done with you offer. And I also have closing calls throughout next week, which is just amazing. When you have a laptop and you can work from anywhere, it's another plus because you're not out of action. You can keep working on the right tasks and make sure you're on track, even when you're traveling, enjoying Portugal and eating pastries for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can just make sure that you're still ticking off the non-negotiables, and then all your extras can be, well, I have a call at 8:30, or I have a specific lunch with a business partner or a client at 12. So it can just be used as a calendar as well. That's the great thing about the extras. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the actual shift that I went through, especially since starting an agency in August and now skill stacking and expanding our service delivery as well as our client base, all within about, let's say, 6 solid months of work, has been insane. And obviously when you're starting out, there's a slog, there's a grind to it. You need to be really, really consistent with really monotonous tasks like outreach. But the thing I preach to anyone wanting to start is content is a compounding asset. It's an asset that you should see content as an asset. So when you post videos, it might not generate leads for your agency or your service business, your roofing company. That one video might not generate leads, or it might not generate sales if you're an e-com or info, but everything compounds. I had a client, Jared as well, who I just had a call with last night. He told me that he saw one of my videos, which was focused on engagement. It was focused on bringing people in. And he got curious and he went through my profile funnel, and watched my high production quality value videos, my middle of funnel videos that were all focused on educating people coming to my account, learning about me and learning about my services. And then he booked in a call. So it's really interesting that no one specific video might not generate leads, but it's a compounding asset, like an ecosystem that builds off of each other. When you post engagement-focused content about getting eyeballs, people from that content will come and view your conversion content. This is something that Nick Settings spoke about in like a massive 2-hour-long video that I had one of my team members watch. But when you have engagement content focused on getting leads and eyeballs, and then you have conversion content which is focused on actually converting that audience and generating sales, it's really important. Whereas if you try to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, you're not, because just social media doesn't work that way. You need to focus on either hyping people up, bringing in attention, or providing as much value as possible. And those videos might not perform well. They could even be unlisted YouTube videos that you send links to prospects. But it's going to allow you to close more people, no matter what business you're in. If you run a roofing business and you have a video of you and your team working, or a funny skit that tend to do well with blue-collar businesses, that will generate a lot of eyeballs. But then if you also have a video breaking down your quoting system or the general time frame it takes to fulfill a job, that's going to bring you clients. So when you post both and alternate throughout the week, you're going to be generating a massive pipeline full of clients. It's really that simple. And that's the great thing about content, is when you post with purpose and you can show people the amount of effort going into different types of content. Engagement content isn't really meant to be filled with effort. It's not meant to be have a super high production quality. It's just meant to either make people feel a certain emotion, like happiness, or build controversy. You could be making fun of a stereotype of person. That's what a client of mine did, and it filled his pipeline for his gym full of leads because people saw that video. He was making fun of someone, and then they went and joined his gym because they didn't want to be like the person he was making fun of. So when you have engagement content, it's not meant to be high production. It's just meant to generate a feeling and emotion in someone for them to go and, oh, what's this guy talking about? Oh, why does he have that opinion? Or anything like that. Or I just want to know more about this person. So then they go and look at your conversion content and scroll through it. And no, it's not meant to perform well. When you post it, it'll probably get 10 likes. But it's meant to just educate people on exactly what you do and then take them to whatever funnel you want. You could just have an engagement piece of content that then takes them to your profile, which takes them to a middle of funnel or bottom of funnel piece of content, either a reel, maybe to your YouTube channel where you're breaking down a specific case study, and then just having a Calendly link in the description. It's really that simple. And those are just kind of the methods that I use for my personal brand between Instagram and YouTube, and that I teach all of my clients to use, whether or not they're running a service business, they're in info, e-com, or they want to start an agency. So it's really, really simple, because when you have an actual system and you know exactly how to deliver for all of your clients, no matter what niche you're in. Now, back to where I was, because I had to hop on a meeting with some amazing people. But when you focus on your inputs every single day and you hit your non-negotiables, you are bound to at least move the needle towards your goals. All right. If you do a lot one day but nothing the next, then you are going to progress at a lot slower rate, because your efforts compound, videos compound. When you're posting engagement and conversion content at the exact same time, alternating every single day, or posting 1 or 2 to 3 videos per day, and then a long form every single week, you're bound to be signing clients. You're bound to be getting at least prospects for your service business. You're bound to be generating meetings for your info product, and you're bound to be generating sales from your e-commerce brand. So that's really simple in terms of content and the mindset you need to follow with your to-do list to reach goals like that. And that's kind of how we did, basically bootstrapped or just powered through and generated $1.2 million in revenue in 5 months, just from our clients consecutively. And obviously when you're skill stacking and adding services on, you're providing more value to your existing clients, giving them more reasons to refer you, giving them more reasons to stay with you. And retention is always more important than acquisition, I find. So with my personal brand, we went through a period where we just focused on acquisition. We posted a lot of content to Instagram organically, and we did about 4 million views, booked in like 50 calls, and closed the majority of that. So when you focus on acquisition, you're going to go through periods. One point of your life, or every 3 months, you'll focus on acquisition. The next 3 months, you're going to focus on retention. But you always need to have retention at the forefront of your mind, all right? It's hard to get a client, but it's really easy to keep them. You just need to go above and beyond, communicate all the time. In e-com, you don't really need to do this, because someone buys your product, and then unless it's something that they need every single month and they run out of and then they need to buy more of it, you're not going to hear from them again. So in info, it's always good to be checking in on your clients. If someone buys your mentorship and you never speak to them again, just fill out the course material. They're not going to like you. You're going to get a refund request. And so it's really simple to actually check in. If you run an agency, check in with your clients every single day, every single week, or at least just at the beginning, preface to them, hey, how often would you like a check-in? How often would you like us to report how your results are going? If we're running ads for you, how often would you like an ad report? So it's really simple. You just have that conversation with them. And that's one of the other great things that allowed us to reach that much revenue in half a year, is purely just by communicating intensely, right? We would always have at least weekly calls, minimum, with clients, just to make sure that they're on the right track, they know exactly what they're doing. Or if they're a done for you client, whereas instead of done with you, where we're checking in every week and doing check-in calls and teaching them, with done with you, with done for you, we'd just have a call every week, update them, run them through the report. Or if they didn't want to do the call, then we send a full report, voice note, everything they need to be kept in the loop on the services we're delivering in my agency. So it's really, really simple. Communicate often, or at least have that first conversation with someone that comes into your program or your service, client, anything, prospect. Have that conversation with them. How often would you like to be communicated with? In info, it's easy just to have like a Discord or a WhatsApp broadcast channel where you just communicate with everyone through that and have weekly calls. And that's a great way to keep a majority of people happy. I know Brez in the ad space and the course selling space, he's made millions from courses. But I remember his Discord format being just videos, video assets, document templates, and message channels, and then calls here and there. So that's a really simple format you can follow on your own info product. and allow you to scale. Like we scaled an info product from 14K to 34K monthly recurring revenue purely by just locking in on organic content and running follower ads. It was very easy. Like we grew their audience organically, and then we showed their followers the right conversion material to a VSL and converted them. Each prospect was 3 to 5K. So it was super simple to convert them because we were generating the right content. We were brainstorming and creating the right content to suit that person's pain points and that person's needs, right? So we were doing, yes, engagement content. You know, every course seller guru has tried the lifestyle content before and it doesn't work anymore. So we just went out of the box. We were showing day in the lives and everything like that to build brand identity. And it was all high quality production. None of it was shot on iPhone. We were always getting cinema cameras out for this person, this client of ours to shoot their content with. And they were just breaking down everything. And then they'd have conversion focused content, stuff focused on providing value and building on their pain points. And then we would run story sequences as well at the same time. So we were using a profile funnel, follower ads, and everything like that. And that's how we scaled them on a bad month to 34K monthly recurring revenue. Anyway, it's now nighttime here in Portugal. I hope you've all enjoyed this video and had something to take away from it, whether it be communication, the actual way of thinking that you need to follow to generate revenue like that, either for your own business or for your clients' businesses, or just you've just enjoyed listening to me talk about my own experiences on running my agency and stacking skills on top of it. So if any of that applies to you and you'd actually like to learn more, you can book in a call in the description. We can have an easy one-on-one call and discuss any of your bottlenecks and how to solve them. Aside from that though, I'm gonna get back to my holiday and I'll see you in the next video.